In the last video, we talked about the grief that comes with saying goodbye to your child. To help with saying goodbye, it can also be sometimes helpful to look ahead to the time when your child will pass away. This brings up questions but also opportunities to shape what happens. What's important now? What's good to consider? So that the time around the dying process is as right as it can be for your child and for you. So you'll be able to look back and say, it was a difficult time, but at the same time it was a precious time because it was time with our child. Let's talk about that now. Perhaps you're still unsure right now, about the right place for your child and for you to spend this final phase of life. At home, in the hospital, or in a children's hospice. Or maybe you want to know what medical options you still have during this phase. You can learn more about some of that in our videos on medical palliative care, which is why we won't go into more detail on that right here. But what you should absolutely know is this. For this and all other questions, your trusted treatment team at the clinic and the palliative care team are always there to support you with advice and assistance. And that also applies if you want to know how the time of dying can be shaped for your child and your family. What needs to be considered and is likely to be important during this time, and also how you can even manage it all. Also, on most wards and in the palliative care teams, there are also chaplains from different religions and denominations. Because you might be dealing with particular questions then. Because you might wish for spiritual guidance, or someone who can endure this with you and stand by your side during this time, even if you're not religious. A ritual at the end of life, such as a blessing ceremony, can give the farewell also a special, as they say, framework. We've also already made a separate video on the topic of pastoral care, where you can learn more about what it can offer you, whether that's in the clinic or at your own home. Other important questions when it comes to the last days of your child's life are also, for example, who are the people closest to you and your child? Who do you want to include in this very last phase of life? Who do you want to come to visit now, to be close to your child and to you during the last days? Who do you want to come to say goodbye? Because when a person's life comes to an end, a very special kind of calm usually sets in. Strength fades, activities lessen, and that means the world often will shrink to include only the most important people. If there are also siblings in your family, you may also want to think about how you want to include them. Siblings also go through the worry, the grief, the process of saying goodbye, even if they're still small and can't really understand the full extent of it all. They also need a process to understand. Because they too will have to learn to live with the death of their brother or sister. That's why it's also important and valuable to allow them to be close to their dying brother or sister and to have their own farewell. Even if you can't imagine that at all right now. If you'd like, you can also get help with this from the psychosocial team. Something else you can think about is what kind of environment might be important for your dying child. Is there a special stuffed animal or even a pet? A familiar scent? A song that is particularly dear to your child's heart? All of these can be helpful companions that create a space where your child is going to feel loved and safe. During the farewell, in the last days and hours before their death. In the clinic, for example, it's possible to push 2 beds together so you can lie close to your child. Or very young children can be placed in their parents' arms as they pass away. This time is often characterized by peace and quiet. And also, maybe also by special talking, because those who are saying goodbye talk about the life you've shared together. Do you remember? Or, I still remember. Sometimes a dying child is less and less conscious, and you're not sure what they are still aware of. But even then, even if they no longer react, you can give your child a sense of security and love during this time with your voice or physical closeness. And when the time comes and your child has taken their last breath, you might just want to be with them for a while. Maybe you'll want to wash your child and dress them in their favorite outfit. Remember that in this moment, nothing has to be rushed. Whether at home or in the hospice, you can say goodbye in your own time without hurry. And many clinics have a farewell room where you can say goodbye to your child with even more peace, for example, and even on the following day. Your child can also be laid out at the funeral home for a longer period, so it's not a final moment right after death, but rather the farewell can be shaped over several days. Your treatment team, the pediatric palliative care team, as well as the chaplains, will support you in this situation and answer your questions. They all know what's important now, what to pay attention to, and what you can do. They will also tell you what the next steps are. And one more important thing, you can plan the moment of farewell, but also be aware that things can turn out differently. Maybe you leave the room and your child dies at that very moment. Because this big step might be easier for the child that way. With some children, on the other hand, you get the impression that they only leave when important people are with them. Either way, what is only truly important for your child to know, deep in their heart, that you love them very much, and that you always will, and that even death cannot ever break this bond of love between you.